trying to go even with, well, gosh, wasn't it PartinG versus Oz where Oz tried to fast expand on this map? That was a little crazy.
Dude, Oz was like one of the most confident PvP talkers, right? Like he was the guy that was like, PvP is all skill. And then, unfortunately, I mean, he didn't have too strong of a run most recently at the Spring Arena. But to get these players introduced, this is game number 2. Ladies and gentlemen, in the lower left-hand corner of the map, as the blue Protoss, give a shout for StarTale PartinG.
And up here in the Northeast, how many guys can say that they Vortex 20 battle cruisers? Give it up for StarTale Squirtle. Not very many, Rob. Not very many.
The answer is probably like 1.
Yeah. At least it has been documented, right? Because there's
we'll
probably that
like
one
that
guy like,
play.
that's not true. In one of my bronze games that went 1 hour and 57 minutes, I Vortex 29 battle cruisers.
Totally the exact same thing.
Yeah, exact same thing. PartinG going to start off. It's pretty typical here. Gateway in the back. Legend, Squirtle with the gateway in the front. And, you know, both these players obviously play a very intense, high-octane Protoss versus Protoss. I mean, I expect Game 3 to be no different.
So PartinG must have some trick up his sleeve. I really wish that I was more versed in PvP at this point because there must be something incredibly intricate going on. PartinG started his gateway about 1 supply sooner than you usually do, and then followed it up by also finishing that assimilator. So he could potentially have his warp gate done, I mean, enough to maybe get out his first round of units just slightly before his opponent. Because as we said, really when you have just that extra warp-in round, because of the way that PvP works, you can really punish.
Yeah, we could also just see him go with those early stalkers and try to get some aggression there at the front of the base. We're going to have the probe come in. Second pylon does go down. Meanwhile, on the other side of the base, we do see a Zealot coming out first here for Squirtle. And we do have a Zealot coming out, so not going to wait for that Psycore to finish up, but saving a lot of chrono boost. Something that probe is most certainly checking out to make sure and find out. In fact, neither of these guys really chrono boosting out any probes at this point, waiting for that Psycore. There it is, and we have the first Stalker out as well. Yeah,
PartinG's going to be rushing out that warp gate really quickly, using all of his chrono boost on that. Now we also have PartinG over up in Squirtle space, getting all of the information that he needs to know exactly what his opponent is up to. Now PartinG's going to get out his first Stalker just a little bit before Squirtle's able to fall up there, and now we actually have that second gate being added onto PartinG just a couple seconds in advance as well. But if we're going to talk about small advantages, Squirtle actually currently already has 2 extra probes out.
Yeah, I think he did actually spend his initial chrono boost on getting those probes, and then he saved most of it. Well, now he's putting his chrono boost back onto the gateways to get an additional Stalker out. Meanwhile, it definitely looks like PartinG wants to get this pressure going here, as he has put all of his chronos on to that warp gate research. No forward pylon quite yet. We've got a probe here from Squirtle all the way in the west side of the map. But where is that pylon? There it goes down at the 5th, just outside the front. But PartinG needs to be careful here. He hides that Stalker just for a moment. He's going to try to put another pylon up in the front, and he does get it down, but that most certainly is going to go down. Now this Zealot is going to be hurled into oblivion as well. He goes down, going to try to kill this one Zealot, and there is the pylon in the back. He's going to go ahead and let that finish up and then do the damage. But here's the warp in. He's going to move it forward. Can he do the damage he needs to do?
Yeah, PartinG's just going to get out here, and I mean, he's going to try to warp it, but as we can see, Legend very intelligently pulled back into his base. He knew that he would be able to kill that pylon from the high ground, and now PartinG has pretty much committed to this aggression.
Yeah, he has. He's going to move forward. Oh, and there he does have movement up at the top. He can't even get that initial Zealot. A pullback that is perfect by Squirtle, but he is certainly playing on the defense. But hello, over here, we do have this pylon over in the natural. One Zealot is going to go up. There is a patrolling Stalker here inside the main base, and it might mean that he's got to send another warp in here, and that's exactly what happens. He may be able to get just a single probe. Actually pulls that probe back. Nicely done. That Zealot is going to fall. He's got to wonder, where in the heck did that come from? We could see another warp in here momentarily, but meanwhile, it is still just there. A 4th gateway is going to go down. He's going to push out.
Yeah, now Squirtle's just advantages have just started to stack up over time. We can see that he has a 10 supply lead, which this early in the game is pretty significant. 7 of that supply is probes, and now there's a bit of a skirmish happening out here. Oh, Squirtle catching these 3 stalkers just so far out of position. Now PartinG losing the majority of his army.
Yeah, what we kind of missed there was I think that group went up the main ramp, and of course the force field cut them in half. They tried to get out of there, but now you can see the units are just scattered everywhere, and we will see Squirtle go ahead and warp in 3 zealots over here at this pylon that's not quite yet dead. And if he does decide to go for it, this could be an opportunity for him to move in. The zealots are going to get into position while the rest of the army will move forward. He's going to try to block those stalkers from getting up the ramp so he can get closer and closer and actually try to gain an additional advantage. And so nice there by Squirtle blocking those units, and he still knows that this pylon is up. He must get rid of it now. And where's his opponent going from there? Well, there is Blink trying to get the Chronos down to get that out as quickly as possible.
That's right. Now behind this Squirtle once again has opted for the expand, showing him that no, I am going to make this work. Oh, unfortunately for PartinG, losing that forward pylon did cause him to become supply blocked, so he is going to fall further and further behind in the army count as Squirtle continues warping in those stalkers.
There we go. Finally, that proxy pylon is eliminated. That will supply block Squirtle. He did just get a few more stalkers out, and we'll send them out on his way. Stalker also checking for proxy pylons down here to the southeast, but yes, the Nexus is going to finish up. At this time, it won't be useless, kind of like it was in the first game. Not that it, obviously a Nexus is never useless, but he never really got a chance to actually utilize it. So
well, it bought him enough time to get just a couple more Stalkers out there, and we saw how close that battle really would have been. And now, really, I think that, at this point, we can see just Squirtle hang back at his base. It's 2 base versus 1 base. His opponent is going to be forced into aggression. And now we see that quick Blink getting out there, eliminating 1 of Squirtle's scouting zealots.
Yeah, and we did actually have, the Blink was discovered there by Squirtle. He's got an Immortal out. Typically something that you absolutely have to have versus a bunch of Blink Stalkers. Try to maximize the damage as much as you possibly can. He's going to have a pylon a little bit closer to reinforce. But what is his opponent going to do when he realizes that there is a Nexus up? Here come a bunch of probes to actually fight in this battle as well. Is he going to actually commit to this? We're going to find out here momentarily.
Oh man, if he tries to go up that ramp, those Immortals are almost sure to absolutely destroy him. He's going to have Blink, so he's going to do what he can. He tries to start moving up the ramp. He baits out one of those force fields, but sees that the force is just far too strong and opts to expand behind.
Yeah, almost immediately he throws down that Nexus, and rightfully so. He knows that he does not want to be behind. So a few Stalkers moving back right now, just some bait techniques from his opponent to try to get any Stalkers inside the base, and now he has these 3 Immortals. I wonder if he actually might choose to push to get his opponent away from his front door. I'm sure he would also love to just send a single unit into his natural to try to find out what is PartinG doing behind this.
He's got to assume that really he's got so much, or he's just so far ahead that really he can just be incredibly comfortable doing whatever he pleases. Oh man, and we once again have PartinG pushing up into the center, baits out 3 of those force fields, and then blinks back before taking any hull damage.
Yeah, just really, really well done here by PartinG, just pushing the limit here, checking up, seeing how the compositions continue to roll out, and this seems to be the moment that he will go ahead and push forward. Now, as he does, though, you can see PartinG is rotating over to the 3rd here. The last thing you want to do is completely push out, get out of position, and then have this big group of Stalkers actually move in and inflict a ton of damage. But another pylon did just go down. Probe is spotted. He'll get a cancellation of that. You'll see PartinG does not want any part of that. He'll go ahead and retreat.
Oh, and as Squirtle continues to move on this army, he has started researching Blink of his own. If he's ever going to catch that army, that's what he needs to do so that he can stay offensive. And now one of these forward pylons are just about to fall almost instantly to this Immortal, and PartinG is able to get in that 1 warp in and fall back. Oh, and it's looking like he may actually start to use Blink offensively as he moves across the center of the map.
Yes, here he goes. There is 1 Stalker sniper over here that might get picked off. Some damage certainly could be done. You can see he could just walk right up into the main. There are going to be a couple stalkers there, but what is he going to do? Actually blinks a couple of stalkers into the natural. He splits this force up and takes several of them into the main as well, and I like this decision here, but Immortals are being moved up here by Squirtle. He's going to have to be forced to move out of here, and several stalkers will die as a result of this play. I thought he was going to be able to inflict a lot more damage. I love the idea of splitting up those stalkers, but unfortunately, Squirtle was just too on top of things.
Yeah, Squirtle with the quick reaction, immediately pulling back all of his army, and now he's actually bought himself enough time to have Blink of his own, so really we won't see another opportunity like that out of PartinG. Oh man, and Squirtle has now, oh wow, showing that he now has Blink, able to continue chasing PartinG across the map, taking out those stalkers left and right.
Yeah, he did quite a bit of damage there. Also, we have another group of stalkers moving over. Now, I'm not sure. Do we actually have an observer out for his opponent? More stalkers moving over. Yeah, I mean, this is going to be an interesting situation because Squirtle could choose to move forward here. And what could stop him from just walking right into the base? Meanwhile, what defense will he have over here? PartinG does have this one observer, so he can use that to blink into his opponent's base, but I think that Squirtle might just want to push forward and try to close the game out right here. We are going to a base trade situation.
So Squirtle could absolutely just pretty much mow through that base with all those Immortals, but instead he's choosing to turn around as he uses some of his stalkers up in the main to eliminate a bunch of those probes up there, and now I'm not sure that his Immortals were on a direct beeline back to his base, but PartinG is just having his way with Squirtle's home.
Wow, I mean, it's back and forth on both sides. A lot of probes have been killed. 22-31 here for Squirtle. He's also going to try to take down a few pylons. You've got these guys moving around the back, and he's got to keep at least part of this probe line alive. Got more units coming in, and here comes the rest of them from Squirtle. Even if they manage to get out of here, it will be completely thwarted, and it looks like Squirtle has cleaned this up. Meanwhile, he's still got all these units inside his base. What possibly could PartinG do?
Yeah, and Squirtle's pretty much just going into land clearing blow here. Now using Blink to really just, I mean, hammer that nail into the coffin over and over again. And now that Squirtle has cleaned up the threat in his base, he's now able to do the death march over into PartinG's main.
Oh yeah, this is so far beyond GG at this point. He's going to have the Nexus go down. He'll blink past that, but what is going to come is a sandwich of the rest of his units. There we see the Nexus fall. All of the probes have essentially been eliminated down to just 9 probes as PartinG, and Squirtle may have pulled this one off. He's moving back to his base. He doesn't want to give up any possible advantage. Really, the only thing that PartinG has left to do is to attack.
Oh, wow. And that we may actually see a reveal here at the Red Bull Battlegrounds.
Yeah, there is definitely going to be a reveal as all the probes are going out. I'm not sure what PartinG thinks, if he actually believes that there might be a chance to win. We've got so many Immortals out here, a ton of the sentries as well, but he's going to go for it.
Oh man, and here goes PartinG going in for his last stand against this, and now we see Squirtle just pushing right through what remains of PartinG's bruised and battered army. Wow. And there it goes. This could be the end of it. PartinG's forced to tap out, meaning that Squirtle takes the game 2-1.
GG. And you know what? After PartinG's very, very decisive game number 1, I thought that maybe we might see him pull off that 2-0. We know that he's very good versus Protoss, but in that particular case, Squirtle having a great set of decision-making there, not overextending, not going too quickly for PartinG's base, allowing those Blink Stalkers to do any damage. I think that PartinG did have the idea to try to use the Observer to blink up and do some damage inside the main, but it never really got to that point.
I mean, we just saw that Squirtle had so many Immortals for the entire game. He always had he was at least a significant chunk ahead as far as supply went. So really, PartinG was just trying to play catch up, and Squirtle was able to establish that Nexus so early and just push the advantage.
So good game as we see PartinG take the first matchup 2-0. And Group D games will continue. I believe that, I'm not sure if Rhett and Last Shadow are currently engaged in battle right now, so we're going to be flipping on over to that. I'm DJ Wheat.
And I'm Rob Simpson. Keep it locked because we're going to be swapping over to the other stream.